Hello, BookTube, and welcome to episode 4 of Hours in My Library. This week, we are looking at Romance of the French Abbeys by Elizabeth W. Champney. This is a lovely book. It is gray cloth, embossed, gold embossed cover, and lettering on the spine and the shield in black, and just a plain back cover, and it's gilt edge along the top. It's rough cut pages, now called deckled edges. And it was published originally in 1905 by, my edition is third printing in January 1906 by G. Putnam's and Sons, New York and London, the Knickerbocker Press. And it's illustrated throughout with photographs, drawings, etchings, and beautiful inserted cardstock like this frontispiece in sepia tone, and you can see the indentation that it's sort of pressed into the cardstock, and then with the glassine or the little tissue paper protective, it gives the in red printing on that of what that illustration is. And Elizabeth Champney she lived from 1850 to 1922, mostly a juvenile novelist, but she also wrote dozens and dozens of articles for Harper's, and did quite a bit extensive traveling throughout Europe, and this is where this book comes from. And it also says here, also by her, Romance of the Feudal Chateau, Romance of the Renaissance Chateau, Romance of the Bourbon Chateau, Romance of French Abbeys, and in preparation, Romance of the Italian Villas. Now, if they were all like this, they'd be really nice to get, or even close to this. She writes quite well. It's not academic by any means. It's chatty, it's touristy, but it's just, she writes well. Here's an example from the first paragraph of the preface. Scattered throughout the length and breadth of France, almost forgotten in their out-of-the-way nooks, the abbeys, though forsaken and ruinous, still afford fascinating shrines of pilgrimage to the thoughtful tourist. And here's a few other of those cardstock illustrations. You can see the indentation and the lettering, or the description on the tissue paper. And you've got photographs throughout, tombs there, and there's a nice colored stained glass window too. If I should have had a, there we go. And this is of the 12th century glass Abbey of Saint Denis. Just gorgeous. And it's just selective as well for the subject matter. And I'm gonna probably butcher these names. I don't know the correct pronunciation of these abbeys or locations, but she has fanciful titles for the chapters, romantic titles, like A Golden Mystery, and that's it's an episode in the history of the Abbey of Vézelay. Chapter 2, The Masterpiece of Frere Placidi, story of one of the artisan monks of Cluny. 3, the Wolf of St. Francis, from the Chronicles of the Abbey of Montmajour. And it just goes on. The Abbey Church of Brou, the Flageolet of St. Bruno, a legend of Le Grand Chartreuse. Just a beautiful book, and there is episode 4 of Hours in My Library, and I will have another book next week. Take care, BookTube.